Hello, I'm David Morris. So Trump has been trash-talking NATO again. This time he's saying that Russia can do whatever the hell it wants to a European country that doesn't contribute enough to its defence. Well, why would a presidential candidate say such an outrageous thing? In my experience, from spending a chunk of my life in America and talking to my American friends and family, I actually think it's a pretty common belief amongst Americans that America has done so much, that it's done the heavy lifting in defending Europe. Since 1945, through the Cold War, when the Soviet Union was occupying Eastern Europe, America spent a lot of money on defending Europe, and they believe that Europeans haven't pulled their weight. Now, of course, it's not quite true. It's fake news. The Europeans actually are spending more and more on their defence, especially since the war in Ukraine. Even Germany now is spending significantly on ramping up its defence budget. New members are joining NATO. But facts are not the point here. It's really about how people feel, and that is a feeling Americans have. Now, we Aussies have an instinctive understanding of this, that Americans distrust Europeans a little. We also instinctively know that to hold on to the American alliance, Australia has to keep reminding Americans that we're here. Now it's not enough to just have lots of Australian Hollywood stars. We need to be reminding America all the time that we're a loyal ally. That's the belief, that we have to pay this insurance policy. I remember as a kid, as a 2-year-old, being taken along to see LBJ when he visited at the height of the Vietnam War, waving my little American flag, because my parents believed, like a lot of Australians, that we needed to pay that insurance policy to the Americans to defend us, because we had been saved by America in the Second World War. We would be saved by America again if, heaven forbid, we were ever threatened again. So in the meantime, we get dragged into these appalling wars. Vietnam, it turns out, was a disaster. Iraq was a disaster. Not just for Australia, not just for the people of these countries, but for America. These wars that America has taken us into have been very poor for America's standing in the world as well. And if America's going to be led by a Donald Trump or someone like that, what does it mean for us, for allies of the US? I think we have to be careful. I think we need to think, as Australians, for example, we need to think about this strategy of becoming ever more intertwined, our defence force ever more intertwined with the Americans. I'm not saying that we shouldn't have an alliance, because it's good sense to have the insurance policy, but is it good sense to be totally dependent, to absolutely put all of the effort of our defence force now into some nuclear submarine force to be operating in the South China Sea, for example? Or should we focus our defence and spend more and more on defending ourselves, defending our continent? These are the kinds of questions that are really important for us to be debating, but we don't seem to be able to debate. There seems to be media silence about these sort of questions. So we need to reduce our vulnerability by strengthening our defence, and we need to reduce our risk as well by not creating enemies, by actually going out and using diplomats, using our trade, using our people-to-people links to actually build a peaceful place in the Asia Pacific.